The organizing committee for the International Conference of Emerging Trends in Engineering and Technology, fellow presenters, and all others present. Good afternoon and welcome. I am Maltee Rampat, and my research topic is shelf life study, sensory evaluation, and nutritive value of wheat flour and dasheen or taro flour sweetbread.
Flour made from wheat contains gluten, and bakery products mainly consist of gluten. Taro or dasheen is a staple food high in carbohydrates and can be found worldwide. Research shows that taro corms may be processed into flour. Hence, the purpose of this study was to develop sweetbread with a percentage of taro flour which is gluten-free and superior nutritionally than sweetbread made with 100% wheat flour. The objectives of this study were to compare the nutritive value of dasheen sweetbread with the control, to conduct a sensory evaluation with untrained panelists to determine sensory characteristics and overall acceptability, to evaluate the control and dasheen sweetbread for a period of 5 to 10 days physically, microbiologically, and chemically, and to evaluate the shelf life of the dasheen sweetbread and the control sweetbread under air condition at 20 degrees Celsius. Taro corms were processed into flour. Formulations for 100% wheat and taro variation sweetbreads were prepared. A focus group session was held to determine which variation out of the 3 wheat to taro sweetbread variations will be used to conduct the sensory evaluation with the 100% wheat or control sweetbread. Sweetbread samples and instruments were used to conduct the sensory evaluation. Various physiochemical tests and microbiological tests were conducted for the shelf life study on the sweetbread samples. Observations of the sweetbread treatment stored at air-conditioned 20 degrees Celsius were also recorded, and statistical analysis was conducted. The variation of wheat to taro flour sweetbread that was most preferred amongst the 3 variations was a treatment that contained 70% wheat flour and 30% taro flour due to taste and texture. To analyze the results, descriptive statistics and statistical tests were used to explore means and standard deviation. Significant difference was established at less than 0.05. From the results of the proximate evaluation, there were significant differences from ash or mineral element, fat, fiber, protein, and carbohydrates in the 4 sweetbread samples. Mineral elements and carbohydrates increased in all the variations with the increased supplementation of dasheen flour. Therefore, the 100% wheat sweetbread is significantly different from the wheat to taro variations. In addition, the preferred variation of wheat 70% and taro 30% flour, the nutritive value increased in all the parameters besides protein when compared to the 100% wheat flour sweetbread, which makes it superior nutritionally. No significant differences existed when firmness of texture was tested amongst the 4 sweetbread samples. But sweetbread made with 100% wheat flour or the control had the lowest value for firmness of texture, whereas the variation sweetbread of 60% wheat flour and 40% taro flour had the highest value. For sensory characteristics, there were significant differences in taste, flavor, mouthfeel, and overall acceptability. For 100% wheat, where the scores were slightly higher for all 3 parameters indicated like moderately. For 70% wheat to 30% taro variation sweetbread, flavor and overall acceptability indicated like slightly. The acceptance test revealed that 100% wheat sweetbread was more acceptable between the two treatments. Water activity. For the 5-day shelf life study, there were significant differences. Water increased in all 3 variations of wheat to taro sweetbread with the increased supplementation of dasheen flour. Results continue for shelf life study. Significant differences existed over the 5-day study period for pH. There was an increase in the variation, 70% wheat to 30% taro sweetbread. But pH decreased for variations of 60% wheat to 40% taro and 50% wheat to 50% taro flour. And the last part of the shelf life study, microbiological results. Coliforming units of microorganisms were too few to count for both bacteria and yeast and molds. However, there was contamination between different replicates. The conclusion of this research project. Sweetbread made with 70% wheat to 30% taro flour gave a higher nutritive content in mineral elements, carbohydrates, and fiber when compared with sweetbread made with 100% wheat flour. Firmness of texture increased when taro flour was supplemented with wheat flour at 30 and 40%, but firmness decreased at 50% supplementation. There are significant differences in taste, mouthfeel, flavor, and overall acceptability in the wheat to taro sweetbread when compared to the 100% wheat flour sweetbread. The food action rating scale showed that both genders liked the 100% wheat flour sweetbread more than the wheat to taro sweetbread. Therefore, the control sweetbread was rated higher. For the 5-day shelf life study for the 4 sweetbread treatments, color was light yellow, then slightly darker, and at the 5th day became yellow again. Water activity was high, greater than 0.8. pH values decreased with the increased percentages of the taro flour when added. Microbiological evaluation for the 10 consecutive days showed that coliforming units were too few to count. However, there was contamination in the both treatments. Of the 2 treatments, 100% wheat and wheat to taro at the ratio of 70 to 30% respectively, stored at air conditioned 20 degrees Celsius, showed slight discoloration on day 9, but by day 10, molds and ropiness were in abundance. Therefore, the sweetbread would not be suitable for consumption. Sweetbread made from wheat to taro flour at the ratio 70 to 30% can have a shelf life of approximately 1 week without growth of bacteria, yeast, and mold. Thanks for viewing.